What's up, y'all? It's Tricky. We're back for a quick update. At the end of the last episode, I was talking about how I was going to um, skip to the All-Star break and tell you guys what was going on with any trades I made or anything like that, but I completely forgot that it was, or that I completely forgot the international amateur period. So, we gotta look at that because I don't want to miss anybody. And wow, it doesn't look like my scout really likes anybody there. Okay, so that's gonna be interesting to figure out. Also, real quick, I recorded all my episodes yesterday, or the first two episodes yesterday, and watched them back, and I already messed up a couple times, but I realized that I say and interesting like way too much. So I think in my draft video I said that a player was interesting or that a situation was interesting probably like a good 10 times. So I'll make sure to choose some new adjectives, and I'm going to consciously think about not saying but it's going to be difficult. I also do say a lot as well. So we're going to have to choose my words carefully from here on out. But anyway, so we made it through the draft. I signed everybody, so that's all good. And we're going to be looking at that. But I was going to skip, and then I realized we had international free agents. So I'm going to look at these guys. I'm really only going to look at these top guys and kind of compare to OSA. So this guy's decent. This guy is not that great. It feels like all the players in this save are... Okay, OSA really likes that guy. It feels like all the players in this save are underrated. I think that's just because of my scout. My scout is... He's a heavily favor ability, which I like a little bit of ability favoring, but... So here's the OSA ratings. They like this Juan Marrero guy a lot. I like a little bit of ability favoring. I usually like favors ability. I don't like highly like this guy is. Juan Marrero is cool. I was hoping for a really good pitcher, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that fortunate. Bobby Bustos is interesting to me. My scout doesn't like him that much, though. Usually for this, I tend to just give the best player 5 million, because I don't like getting stuck in bidding wars for players, and I don't like to spend over the cap. So yeah, I think I'm gonna sign Marrero. He wants 4 million, so we will give him the 5. Why do I have him red? We must not have that much money left over. Yeah, I tried to free up some. My owner does not approve the deal. That's not good. So I'm gonna have to free up more money. I tried to free up money, and I made a couple trades, but that's not good at all. Alright, we might have to figure this out. I might have to make another trade to free up some money, and then we will see about signing ourselves an international free agent. Okay, so we're back. We got Juan Marrero. We signed his deal, gave him 5 million. He is now a member of the Rangers organization. Now, I had to make some trades to free up the money. And off screen, before we had simmed up to the International Free Agent Day, I had actually made a couple trades already. So if we go to the trade log, I'll show you guys the deals that I made so far. So on June 16th, I made 2 trades. We traded Danny Santana, our center fielder, and Jason Barr, a 25-year-old minor league relief pitcher, to the Pirates. They were looking for outfield help. They're in the middle of the NL Central. They're, you can see, 3.5 back of first place in that division. So I made that trade. I sent them Santana and Barr, and in exchange, I got this guy who's the centerpiece, Jason Martin. He's a really good-looking player. My scout loves him. OSA is about the same. He's got a good track record down in the minors. You know, kind of decent. He had a little bit of time up in Pittsburgh. I've got him back down in Nashville, where he's not doing too hot, but he'll figure it out, I think. I'm confident in these ratings. I really like these ratings. This range in left field, I think, will play well. And yeah, so we'll have him for a while. He's on my secondary roster. He's got options left. I think he'll probably start the season on my team next year, perhaps. And then we got this guy, Steven Alamais, I don't know, who is a very good-looking shortstop slash second baseman, utility infield guy. He's got really good numbers down in the minors this year. Very good numbers with my team. Wow, 383. Look at that. 0.8 WAR already. He's got very good defense. I think he's probably going to be kind of a utility man for me. You know, like a depth player. He's got options left. He's eligible for the Rule 5, so he'll probably go on the 40-man in the offseason. OSA likes him a lot more than my scout does, which is a good sign. And we also got this guy who's kind of a throw-in, Nick Mears, a relief pitcher. Not too good in Altoona, but I like his numbers so far in Frisco in 4 games. He hasn't given up a run yet. Low walks. I like the looks of his makeup a lot, and I think he will be a solid bullpen contributor for me in the future. And he's also not eligible for the Rule 5, which is awesome. We can leave him down in the minors for a little bit. He'll probably start next year in AAA, maybe even get up there towards the end of the year. That's that trade. And then we made a trade with the St. Louis Cardinals, who were looking for a catcher. They wanted a catcher. It was them, and who else was in the running? There was another team who was a front runner for Chirinos. The Astros were up there, but the Astros don't like parting with their players. Eventually, I decided on the Cardinals. They wanted Chirinos, probably because he is controllable, good catcher, a good combo with Yadier Molina. And he hasn't done well there so far, but oh well, he was doing well for us. And yeah, I traded him and this guy, who is a reliever that I pretty much gave up on, Mason Englert. He does not look good. He's still down in A-ball, not doing well, low potential. I mean, this, you know, he's a dime a dozen, I think. I can part with relief arms because I'm getting some back. And in exchange for him, I grabbed Justin Williams, who is the centerpiece of the trade. You can see OSA really likes him. My head scout likes him a good amount. He is our kind of right fielder of the future so far. He'll probably be up next year as well. He's also on the 40-man. And he's in his last option year, so he'll start the season on our team next year. With these ratings, I think he can do well. Hopefully he pans out for us. He's very good in the minors. He hasn't been so good for us. Maybe slow to start, but he was raking in with the Redbirds in Memphis. He's raked there for 2 years. He was only up on the Major League team for 5 plate appearances, and he hit 200. So I'm confident that this guy will turn into something pretty special. He's kind of the centerpiece of this trade. And I also got them to throw in this guy, Griffin Roberts, who is just, you know, a depth arm starting pitcher to give me more options in the future. I liked his ratings. OSA likes him a little bit more than my head scout does. He's not doing too well in Frisco. He's started 3 games, 8.44 ERA, but the FIP, I mean, the whip isn't too bad. We'll see the FIP real quick. 611, so not great, but we'll see if he can figure it out. He is walking a lot of guys and giving up a few extra home runs than he normally has, so I'm hoping that'll just stabilize itself. He is down, yeah, he's down in Double A. He might have to go back to High A, where he hasn't done very well, but I don't know, we'll see. And then I got this guy, Jacob Patterson, a relief arm. He is... Where is he from me? Oh, he's down east for me. That's weird. He'll probably get called up. I gotta do prospect call-ups while I'm simming to the All-Star break. But yeah, he's pitching well down there in down east. 6 2/3, 2.70 ERA, 1.31 ERA plus. Low BABIP, but that's fine. Hopefully he can turn it around when he goes back up to Double A. I want to be aggressive with him because he's 24, and I do like his ratings. And then I got this guy, Jake Walsh. He's kind of just a throw-in. I wanted more warm bodies, and he looks good so far in High A, so he might be developing better than expected. His ratings are good in OSA, and my scout tends to deflate ratings, so if they can meet in the middle, he could be a good depth arm for me. And he's doing this in down east with a higher BABIP, so this is looking good. He might get an aggressive call-up as well. He's 24. And a bunch of teams are interested in him in trades that I saw popping up, so hopefully we'll get something there. And then I just made a trade to get under the budget so that we could sign our guy there in the international free agents, and that was Mike Minor, and I threw in this guy, Wes Benjamin. He was in Double A. He's 26, 20 potential according to my scout, 20 potential according to OSA. Not good numbers. Last year in AAA he was atrocious. This year in Frisco he's been just as bad. So I cut him loose in this deal. Who's a throw-in? And in exchange from the Yankees, I got Nick Nelson, another starting pitcher, who I just assigned to AAA. He's got really good ratings. OSA likes him a lot more than my scout, which I'm hoping is a good thing. And then I also got them to throw in Glenn Otto, who OSA also likes more than my scout, and who has a decent record in the minors. Not great, on the backs of high BABIPs, so I'm hoping that he can fix that. Maybe get luckier, or I should say maybe less unlucky in these seasons with me. I've got him in Frisco right now. He started one game and gave up, it looks like 3 runs. Yeah, 3 runs. So we'll see how he does. We just got him. But yeah, Mike Minor is gone. He's with New York. They have taken all of his money. And that is that for the trades so far. The teardown begins. To replace Minor, I called Joely Rodriguez back up. He, very limited action in AAA, but he was pitching well, so we're going to try him again. See if his numbers on the Major League team can figure themselves out. We also called up, I guess I should mention, off-screen, Lance Lynn got injured. He has a sprained UCL, which is a little concerning. I was hoping to be able to trade him. I'm hoping he'll be ready. They say 2 to 3 weeks, so that would put him, if he's ready in 3 weeks, right before the trade deadline, he'll be back. Might get one more start in. I'm really hoping that can happen. Yeah, really hoping that can happen. I want to trade him to get some more value from his trade. So yeah, to replace him, I called up Yohander Mendez, who has started 1 game and got the brakes beat off of him. 5 earned runs on a 2.45 whip, 7 walks per 9. Not ideal from Yohander Mendez, but he is just kind of a guy who's taking up the space. He's not a long-term solution. And then that's pretty much it. We got Andrews back. I he just got over a day-to-day injury. To replace Chirinos, we called up Jeff Mathis, who is actually hitting 200. I didn't call him up for the bat. I called him up. He was down on the minors. My assistant GM had actually demoted him to Double A because he was hitting so bad in Triple A. He had a 6 OPS plus in Triple A, but I want this on my team for the stretch run, or I should say for the run down the stretch, not a playoff run, but I want these catcher ratings on my team. I think it'll help my pitching staff stabilize a little bit, and hopefully it'll calm some of these guys down. And then to replace Santana, we called up Heineman, who has not been doing well. I think I might take a look at my hitting coach. He's signed through next year. He might be fired. I might fire him. Because I am not impressed with what he's done with this team so far. I think we'll wait on him for now. Well, how's this guy? Chase Lambin. He's a contact guy. Yeah, okay. I'm probably going to fire my hitting coach in the off season. Maybe I'll just fire everybody. We'll see. That'll be an off-season thing. But yeah, as you can see, we have gotten a little bit more under the budget. Total expenses are now down to $163 million. We have available money because of our cash reserves. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Kluber and Lynn are definitely next on the block. Gibson also wants to get traded. I don't know if there's going to be any takers for that contract, but I can try. And I might try to move Nicasio. When I was trying to make the Santana trade, there were teams who were interested in Nicasio, but now he's struggling. So I don't know if people will be interested in him anymore. And then in the lineups, wow, Rougned Odor. Yeah, he sent me an angry message. I guess our manager, Chris Woodward, benched Rougned Odor. I mean, he's hitting 206. Who'd they bench him for? Solak. He's hitting 187. Okay, well, hopefully Solak can figure it out. He's good on paper, but baseball is not played on paper. Oh yeah, I also called up Eli White, who is struggling heartily because I sent down where is he? I sent down Andy Ibanez because he was doing worse. So that is the struggle with the lineup so far. According to this, Alamize is ready to play in the majors. We might have to give him a shot. Greg Bird also made an appearance on the major league team because Guzman went down with an injury for a short amount of time, and he was decent. 235. He hit a home run. He's a leader, so I just called him up. It was between him and Sam Travis, and I gave him the call because I was hoping maybe that he could be a leader. That also didn't really pan out well for us, but we'll see. We'll see. We have some guys who may make waves on the team soon. I'm going to... I think that's everything that I was going to talk about. Injury updates, trade updates, roster updates, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, so I'm going to sim to the All-Star break. I'm going to probably make a couple more trades. I'm going to promote some of the prospects, keep track of some of the guys who we drafted, and maybe I'll meet up with you guys either at the All-Star break or at the trade deadline for another update on where the team is at. Alright, welcome back everybody. It is now August 1st. the trade deadline has passed. We made, I think we made a couple deals. We made one big one, which I will show you guys right after this. But first, I simmed through the All-Star break, so I wanted to go through the All-Star game rosters, because those are fun to keep track of. So in the American League, pretty about what we expected. Giolito, Glasnow, Matt Manning, probably the Tigers, one All-Star. Morton, Otani, Ryu, Snell, Allen made it. Huh. That's impressive. Good job, Cody Allen. Zach Grotz, Yusmeira Petit, Anderson, Chapman, Kennedy, Rogers, Garver, Grandal, Sanchez, Alvarez, Encarnacion, Sano, Alberto, Hernandez, Bregman, Chapman, Devers, Donaldson, Moncada, Lindor, Polanco, Torres, Brantley, Jimenez, Stanton, Trout, and Judge. So, about what you would expect from an AL All-Star lineup. Let's see what we get from National League. Michael Baez. I don't know who that is. It looks like a young guy. He's injured now. Sorry, buddy. Darvish, DeGrom, Fried, Lugo, Robbie Ray, Caleb Smith, Soroka, Strasburg, Anderson, Gratterall, May, Hader, Smith, Contreras, Ramiro, Suzuki, Aguilar, Bell, Lux, Marte, Wong, Arenado, Bryant, Machado, Moustakas, Suarez, Turner, Slater. That's interesting. Not what I expected to get from San Francisco in the All-Star game. Juan Soto, Cody Bellinger, Acuna, Mookie Betts, Blackman, and Harper. So that's that. And then the Future Stars game. I'm not going to go through all the people on here. Some of the highlights are Houck, Forrest Whitley, Adley Rutschman, Andrew Vaughn. We had Leody Taveras make the Futures game. He's doing well. I called him up to Nashville, and he's hitting okay there so far. Yeah, pretty much all of the top prospects here. Julio Rodriguez is a beast. I'm really excited for this guy. I did a Seattle Mariners rebuild on MLB The Show franchise, and this guy became a monster for me. So I'm really excited to see what he does with his career. And then in the National League, that's the list there. There's a couple notable names there for the reason of the trade deadline. So there were a few trades. I don't remember how many I made because I took so much time trying to figure out the good trades. First of all, Lance Lynn was hurt, so I didn't end up trading him. He was supposed to be back in 2 weeks, but he had a setback and his recovery was unknown. And I figured if I had tried to trade him, I wasn't sure if his value would go down. I have him for another year at less money, so I'm not too worried about keeping him around for an extra year. We'll figure something out. We'll probably trade him next year. With his lower salary, as long as he does well, his price should go up a little bit, I'm hoping. So we're going to keep him. I could have turned on trade injured players, which is, they do it in real life, but I don't know. I figured I would just hold on to him because we did trade. Can I see the log? There it is. We traded. Let's see if I can find us here. So I know I did the minor trade on video, because that was for the free agents, the international free agents. I guess I only did the one. Oh, that's right. It just took me forever to get it figured out. So I traded Corey Kluber. He was doing okay for us. He was, high ratings, great player, leader, adaptability, work ethic, all the good stuff, but he was worth something. And he wasn't doing great for us in terms of the numbers. His ERA plus was average. His wins above replacement was solid. He was rocking a little bit of a high BABIP, a little bit high on the home runs department, but he was still worth some prospects, and I got this deal from LA. The centerpiece, of course, is Mitch White. When I first shopped Lance Lynn back at the beginning of the season, Mitch White popped up. And I was super excited to trade Lance Lynn for Mitch White until Lynn sprained his UCL. But luckily, the Dodgers are willing to give White up for Kluber, and I really like White's ratings. His ratings look really good. My scout, who is extremely rough on pitchers, says he could fill a mid-rotation spot. And I think when I traded for him, he said back of the rotation. So our scout likes Mitch White a lot. He is the number 86 prospect in baseball, which is huge for our farm. I also got this guy, Michael Grove, who OSA likes a lot more than my scout, and I was figuring that that was a good thing. I was also looking at Yadier Alvarez, but Alvarez, his control is really low. Grove looks like he could be a more complete pitcher. He is 23, he's in high A, his numbers aren't great, but he's not Rule 5 eligible, and I think he could still turn it around, especially with these ratings, and I think he could become something good for us. Our scout thinks he could be filler. I think he could be better than that. I liked his ratings a lot, and Yadier Alvarez just screams guy who's going to turn into a reliever, whereas Grove could become a solid starting pitcher if his ratings pan out. And then I got this guy, Christian Santana. He was just a quality prospect. I was trying to throw in more young arms, and I just couldn't get the Dodgers to part with any more pitchers on the deadline. I think I waited too long. I was trying to throw in a couple pitchers that they were originally down for, but I was waiting for the deadline to see if Lynn would get healthy, and then I could work a couple trades. That didn't pan out, but Lynn didn't get healthy, so I ended up having to take a slight cut in the price, but I did get this third baseman. We do have a lot of third basemen, especially because I just get a player development update, and Josh Jung is doing well in the eyes of my scout. My scout is a big Jung fan now, but this guy's almost ready. He is on my AAA team. He hasn't played yet, and he is Rule 5 eligible, so he needs to go on the 40-man. His range is good. He's got an average, maybe below average bat. The power is solid. He's definitely not like a long-term solution. He's not an anchor at the hot corner, but he's replacement level. He could definitely be a backup corner infielder. And along that same vein, if I can get there, we got Jared Walker, who was intriguing to me based on his ratings. I was trying to throw in a few other guys. The Dodgers wouldn't bite on some of the prospects, and I didn't want to grab any more outfielders. I've got a lot of outfielders already, so I figured why not get more first basemen. Walker, he's a first base, third base, kind of DH type. His bat, the avoid Ks is tough. He reminds me a little bit of Bobby Dahlbeck with better contact. His numbers in the minors aren't great, but he's kind of a lottery ticket for me in this trade. If that bat can contribute to something, he could be decent. I think he's down. Yeah, he's down in AA right now. I think my GM moved him there. I had him in AAA. But he's kind of a lottery ticket for me. These two guys I consider the centerpieces, and to a certain extent, Santana as well. Jared Walker's kind of just a bonus throw-in. I couldn't get another starter, and there were a couple relievers I was looking at, but I was much more willing to throw in a guy who could, has a chance to be an impact bat, and who has a good glove at first base, if anything. And I also threw in this guy, Shea Spitzbarth. He's a reliever, pretty average, but his numbers in AAA and AA his numbers in AA looked good. His AAA numbers are kind of tough, but the BABIPs are super high and the walks are super high. It doesn't look like he really got adequate chances in AAA. 2 1/3, 3, and 22 innings in 2019. I think if he gets a good shot to try to adjust to AAA, he could be better. These ratings look decent. And if nothing else, he could just be a guy. I don't have any pitching depth. So he could just be a guy that I can shuttle back and forth for 3 years until he's out of options and then figure out what to do with him. But yeah, so that's that. The team is, let's look at the standings first. We are now in last place. We are tied with Seattle. That's about what you would expect looking at this team. We are really bad at pretty much everything. We are bad at offense. We're bad at pitching. I mean, this is just the total package of really bad. I mean, look at our lineup. Elvis Andrus hitting 268 with 3 homers. He missed some time, but we have him for 3 more years guaranteed after this year. 2 more years guaranteed after this year. So I don't really know what I'm going to do with him. I didn't try to move him. I shopped a bunch of guys around, and he's a captain, so if anything, keeping him around is beneficial to us to at least keep morale up. Him and Mathis as captains are kind of barely holding this team together, I think, especially because I dumped a leader in Corey Kluber. I mean, look, our top 2 wins leaders are guys I traded. So that's what we have going for us this year. Solak has been really bad, but his ratings are good. I just want to let him get his feet wet at the major league level. I really don't know what his problem would be. I'm not sure if I want to try to send him down. He's just not hitting well. He's not fine with his performance, so I don't know what's going on here. 197 is not what you want to see out of a guy like this, so I'm hoping he can turn it around down towards the end of the season after the All-Star break. Calhoun has also been kind of underwhelming. His OPS is now above 100, so he might be turning it around. 17 home runs, so at least the power is there. Gallo still struggling a little bit. He's still getting on base. He's not cranking as many bombs as you would hope for from Gallo, especially considering he hasn't missed too much time this year. And the OPS plus is down. He's just not himself this year, and I think it has to do with the quality of the team. Guzman is kind of doing better, still not great. He's another one. These ratings are better than what he's giving us on the field. So I'm just hoping he can straighten it out. My owner is going to be very mad because I haven't replaced him with someone better, but I don't see any point in trying to upgrade him now. Todd Frazier is doing about as good as you can expect. We're definitely declining the team option. I shopped him around, but there wasn't really anybody who was willing to give me something to cut this salary. I think the most interesting trades were I could have gotten what was suggested to me. The Royals wanted to give me Maikel Franco, which I didn't think was realistic, so I didn't really make that trade. I don't know why the Royals would want Todd Frazier. So I didn't make that trade. And then the Padres were looking to give me Hedges, which I considered because I could have used another captain, and it would have given us a chance to have Falefa be a super utility plus catcher, but I didn't end up pulling the trigger on that because I'd much rather just get Todd Frazier off the books and figure something out for next year. Chu has fallen off. He's still good, but he's nowhere near where he was at the beginning of the season, which we expected. That production was going to fall off eventually, but he's still on pace for 3 wins, which is about his average output since he's been in Texas. He's on pace for 20 homers. I don't know if I'm going to re-sign him. He's 38. I don't think so. I think he's gone. Because we could put Willie Calhoun at DH and put the new guys, the new acquisitions in the outfield. Heineman, another guy, really bad. I might send him down at some point and replace him with somebody. Towards the end of the season, maybe I'll call up one of the guys I got in the trades and try them out in the outfield. I'm probably going to DFA Heineman at the end of the season, especially if the prospects start growing a little bit better. And we already looked at Falefa. I mean, he's doing as well as you could expect. And the pitching's disappointing. We did call up Colby Allard. He looks ready ratings-wise. His numbers weren't great in AAA, but I didn't really have any other options. He's got Major League service. He's a good guy. He's got low greed. And, I just think we needed room in AAA. I didn't want to add anybody new to the 40-man. I considered a couple older guys who were doing a little bit better, but their BABIPs were high. I just think the BABIPs and their FIPS were high. I just think it's time. Allard had some time up last year in real life. He pitched to a 4.96, which isn't bad. 4-2 in 9 starts. I'm hoping we can get something like that just to kind of give this team some energy. Because Yohander Mendez was getting shelled early on in the season, or I guess earlier on into his call-up. He started 6 games, and he's given up 22 earned runs. He had at one point, I think, like a 11 or 12 ERA. He's another one who's probably not long for this team. He's just up at this point to fill the gap we lost, the gaps from guys we lost in trades and injuries. And Rafael Montero, my manager Chris Woodward has slotted him into the rotation, and he's doing okay. I think he's working. I don't understand why my manager doesn't just make an opener, but I guess we don't really have a follower, so he's just kind of starting games, and he's not doing great, but he's not awful, so I guess we'll just let that ride for now. When Lynn comes back, I'm going to send somebody down and slot Lynn back into the rotation, and then Montero will slide back into the pen. Let's see. Because of a few injuries, we had Luke Farrell got injured again. He's out for 2 weeks. And Luis Garcia is out with a strained hamstring that sidelined him for a very long time. It must have been some hamstring strain. He's gone after this year anyway. But yeah, he was down for a while, so I made a few moves. I called up... first I claimed Dominic Leone off of waivers. He was waived by Cleveland, I believe. Yeah, Cleveland. He had some decent numbers in the minors this year, so I figured, why not? I'll give him a shot. The ratings are okay. The movement was worrying, but the ratings are okay. The movement has been worrying. He's given up 4.5 bombs in 6 innings, so the sample size is small, but it was just another... I don't have depth right now, so I just needed a guy to send out to eat innings. He's ARB, so I can just non-tender him at the end of the year, and there's no big deal. And then I also called Joely Rodriguez back up a while ago. I think I went over this in the last part. If not, I called him back up a while ago because he was doing very well in a very small amount of time in AAA. So I called him back up, and he has really sent his ERA down a little bit. The BABIP's still high, but he... Actually, has he not given up a home run? Okay, so he hasn't given up a home run. He just is getting shelled in every other way. He's just walking everybody. All right, well, if you can get that control up a little bit, get the walks down. I still have faith in him that he can be a productive pitcher. I kind of have to, given the contract that he's on. So he's at least going to be up next year. Or on the team next year, I should say. We'll see what he does with that. And I also called up Joe Barlow, who is a very good relief prospect. He's 24. He was Rule 5 eligible, so I figured why not give him a shot. The ratings look okay. He's walking a lot of dudes, which is expected with this 40 control, although not 9.6. His numbers looked really good in AAA, even with a high BABIP, so I figured why not give him a shot. And Woodward was apparently very enthusiastic to have him aboard because as soon as I called him up, he was the closer instead of Jose Leclerc, which is weird because Leclerc is doing very well still. But, and I mean, technically Leclerc's ratings are worse than Barlow, so I don't know. If Barlow can get up to 70 potential, that would be nice. We could have a pretty solid back end of our bullpen in him and Leclerc. And, you know, when Farrell comes back, we'll have that going for us. Otherwise, not too much happening. I called a few prospects up here and there. You can see Mitch White is there. According to this, he's ready, but his numbers aren't great. I'm going to probably call him up at the beginning of next year. Gerardo is still struggling, so I didn't call him up. It was between him and Allard, and I decided to call up Gerardo. Let's see. Anybody else? Lemoyne might be up soon, but his numbers weren't good, so I didn't want to call him up, even with the ratings. DeMarcus Evans is doing very well in a small sample size after his call-up from Frisco. He'll probably start... Well, he'll definitely be on the team in spring training. He'll probably start the season on the club, given all of the departures. I released a bunch of vets, like old first basemen and old catchers that we had. I released Tim Federowicz because I called up Sam Huff, who's doing very well. He might be ready for some major league action soon, if nothing else because of the glove. But the bat looks like it's coming. Swihart, he's depth. I released Sam Travis and Greg Bird. Unfortunately, just too many guys who play first base. According to my GM, or the interface, Steven Alamize is also ready to come up. He's going to be in the running for a utility man spot, especially with these fielding ratings. He might be up at some point this year. He's hitting well. He's getting on base at a decent clip. He's hitting well with that high average. He's not avoiding Ks as well as I would have hoped for, but you know, the offensive output is about what I expected, so he'll definitely be in the utility man conversation. Hernandez, I believe I just called up. Yeah, I just called him up. I let him hit a little bit more in AA, and his numbers looked good, so he came up. I'm hoping he can do well and turn into something, because he's a prankster, which would be good for the clubhouse, and I like his ratings. Ibanez, not a fan of him. He's not doing well in the minors. He's probably going to be gone. You know, as far as utility men go, he is not very good. I've got other options. He's got a 19 OPS plus in the majors, 79 in AAA. So I think Tejeda is doing decently. No, he's not doing that well. The bat's kind of slow, a little sluggish. The Ks are a problem with him, which is why, as a backup plan, I acquired a few more third basemen just to be safe. If nothing else, he could be a backup. Infielder with some pop, with that range, especially that arm. I like him at third. Let's see, Diosbel Arias. He was the one who was hitting well. I called him up from Frisco because he was raking. He came up to AAA and started raking. And these ratings are solid. He might be on the major league club soon. I like him a little bit more at second base, but he could stick at short with these ratings. The arm maybe isn't good enough for third. So we'll see what happens with him. Let's see. Martin still kind of scuffling down there. I don't know why. Actually, he got called back up. He was down in AA. My assistant GM apparently decided that he's ready again. I should put him on the short list, but I don't know. I'm waiting for these ratings to creep up a little bit. I'm really hoping they do. Because, I mean, the gap doesn't really matter. Gap isn't the most important rating, but I really want that contact and that eye to get up. The power I'm not even worried about, but he could be a good leadoff hitter, I think, if these numbers can come around. And then Adolis Garcia is still hanging out down there, not doing great. Like I said, he's not a long-term option. Leody Taveras, also waiting on those ratings to come up. He's hitting well in AAA after his call-up from AA. Not as well as I would have hoped, but he's doing okay. And Justin Williams, according to the interface, according to the game, he's ready to come up. His numbers are low, but he's unhappy. His expected role is playing in the majors, so he might just be bored with the level that he's at. I'm going to try calling him up probably in September, giving him a shot to play some of the outfield, and he'll definitely be up after the departure of Heineman, Chu, and I'm going to non-tender Ref Snyder, so they'll definitely get some spots. Yeah, I already looked at Martin. And then AA, we can just look real quick. Hernandez is pitching well. Yeah, he's pitching okay. He is not Rule 5. Oh, he is Rule 5 eligible. Well, that's not good. He'll probably start next year in AAA. I'm hoping I don't have to put him on the 40-man either. Glenn Otto, we got in the Yankees trade. He's been bouncing all over the place. He is okay. He's just depth. I'm hoping he pans out, but he's depth. Yeri Rodriguez, I called him up from High A, and he has been pitching very well in AA. Scott Engler, our reliever, is just doing okay in Frisco. I mean, if he finishes the season with these numbers, he'll start next year in AAA for sure. Nick Mears, I haven't added him to the list. He's been doing better in Frisco than he was in Altoona, where we got him from, but not great. The BABIP is low, the ERA is high. He's given up a few homers. We'll see how he does down there. QFO is still down. He's kind of just a depth catcher at this point. He's hitting well in Frisco. I'd call him up to AAA, but there's not really any room for him. Walker is down there. He has not played yet because I just made the trade after the deadline. Josh Jung has developed. His potential rating has gone up. He was doing like really well in High A, so I said screw it. I'm calling him up to AA, and he has been mashing in a very small sample size. So that's exciting. Jung doing well to put himself on the radar of the head scout. I think he's Rule 5 eligible. Oh, not for like 3 years. That's great. So at least we have something to look forward to. Santana will be down in AA. His numbers in AAA weren't great. I kind of want him to start in AAA, but with Tejeda there, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Eli White got demoted to AA because he was bad in Nashville after we sent him back down. He's another guy who I just have better utility options. So he might not be on the team next year. He hasn't even been doing well in Frisco. Part of which may be because he's mad, but I mean, not too into him at this point. Steele Walker has been okay. OPS plus is average. He'll probably, if he finishes with these numbers, we might start him in AAA next year. Not sure. And that's Hunter Cole. Julio Pablo Martinez, also doing about average, 99 OPS plus. He's been supplying good value, though, I assume on the field with that range in the center field rating. So we'll see where he goes. He's a spark plug, which is cool, so I'm hoping he can make it to the majors. Yeah, and then we just have, we looked at Michael Grove. We have AJ Alexi, who's a reliever a lot of people are looking at. He's in High A. He should probably get called up to Double A, actually. Do we have room for him? Yeah, we definitely do. Call him up. Jacob Patterson looks good as well. He was in... Oh, did we get him in a trade? Oh, yeah, we got him in the St. Louis trade. Why is he in... I guess he's not doing too well. in Double A, so he got assigned to Down East. He's been good in Down East in 18 and a third. We'll try him up in Double A too. And see what happens. I'm just going to release this guy because he's 36. Release him. Yeah. And we'll send Sal Mendez down to the Wood Ducks. Who else is on the Wood Ducks? Let's see. Yeah, Michael Grove is down there just working out some things. Oh, Chris Cease. Hitting pretty well. He's got time. I'm not going to rush him. He'll probably start next year in Double A. Bubba Thompson has not been hitting well at all, but his value is defensive, which he hasn't really been doing much of either. We'll see what's up with him. We might just try him in Double A next year anyway. The average is up, so we'll just hope that his bat can come along. If not, he'll be a trade piece. And then we just have all the guys down, like in A-ball and Double A-ball. Foscue is raking in A-ball. That's pretty cool. Maybe we'll call him up to High A. Or actually, well, High A and Double A are basically the same thing. Wenzel's not doing great. That's not good. Oh well. I wonder if we could just call up Foscue to Double A. He's 21. This is OPS plus 109. Maybe. How's Daniel Cabrera doing? He's also hitting decently. Well, he's hitting even better than... Wow. Okay. Sweet. So that draft, I've felt good about that draft, honestly. That was a good draft. Cole Winn is one of our top prospects. Not pitching too well down in the minors. I'll go through and I'll fix the short lists and everything because we have like Josh Moylan down in the rookie league who's hitting well. I think Bitsko might be hurt. Or no, he's down here. His potential went down, which is worrying, but the ratings still look decent. I think it's just my scout. The ratings still look decent. These could definitely bring up something. Or I should say, they could definitely play. But yeah, I think that's it for the post-trade deadline update. A little bit of an inactive trade deadline. Less active than I expected. Was hoping that Lance Lynn would stay healthy, but unfortunately he did not. It's fine. We'll hold on to him. I'll probably do... There's nothing coming up. Nope. There's nothing coming up between now and the end of the season. So I may just come to you guys with an end of season and playoff and off-season strategy video when the Texas Rangers complete 2020. So we'll do a season wrap-up, look at the final tallies of guys' stats, and then we will look at who wins the World Series, maybe sim through that, and then we will do some arbitration hearings, and then maybe look to see where we're going to spend money and where we're going to move guys around and in the farm system and all that stuff. So yeah, I will play to the end of the season, and I will see you guys in the next one when we go over the end of the 2020 season and the beginning of 2021. So if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Leave a comment down below about any tips you have for the series or any tips you have for me playing the game, or any feedback is appreciated. But yeah, I'll see you guys for the next one.